Hey there. I hope everybody's doing good today. I am going to do just a random kind of pretty pour. I hope it turns out really pretty. I picked some colors that I really love. So today is day 10 of the 30-day art challenge that I'm participating in through Thriving Christian Artists on Facebook, which is an open group. You can join it. And Matt Tommy is my mentor, and he is the one that heads up that group and the Created to Thrive group that I'm in that I truly love. So I am doing day 10, and the challenge today was just to paint something I really love. And so that's what I'm hoping to do. I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I'm going to use different Artist Loft Liquitex Basics, basically, are the two brands that I'm using. I'm going to do maybe some kind of a dirty pour with no silicone in it. But then I'm going to try something a little different. I've got Floetrol, Floetrol latex based, big old gallon here. I transferred it into my squirt bottle here so it's just easier to use. I'm going to do a 1-to-1 ratio in my cups, maybe a little bit more Floetrol, maybe 2-to-1, 1.5 to 2-to-1. And I have to add some water, I'm sure, to get it to the right consistency because tube paints are always thick. Like I said, I'm not going to put any silicone in the cups, but I'm going to try something different. And I'm also going to use white and black, which are Artist Loft. So Artist Loft and Liquitex. And my Floetrol has been a little lumpy here lately, and I've got a piece of screening. And I'm going to put it over the cup. And this maybe hopefully will just keep it from lumping up on me as much. So again, this is just a piece of screening. We had this around the house. See, there's some lumps laying on the top of the surface. So that keeps those lumps from going through. So I don't know what you call that. It's Floetrol boogers, which is not a nice word. So maybe you call it flugers. I don't know. But anyway, that just helps with the lumps. I'm going to speed through the process of mixing. So these are ready to go. This one is lumpy. This Artist Loft, sometimes it's known to be lumpy, so I'm going to let it sit with the Floetrol for a little bit, and hopefully it'll kind of break down a little bit. This is my water in a red bottle, H2O. So I'm using Artist Loft white, black, light violet, light magenta, and then Liquitex Basics deep violet, Quinacridone magenta. So those are the colors I'm using. And I like contrast between colors. I don't like them to be too close together in value. So you can see the obvious contrast between the colors. And usually I use even more colors than I am on this one. But I wanted to kind of keep it in the girly color family. But I'm going to put a little black and a little white just to kind of give it a little bit of a zing to it. I'm going to do a 12-inch canvas, and if it turns out the way I like it, if I like it and I really love it, I might do a second one. And while I'm waiting on that to sit for a few minutes, I've also added a Patreon account, and it's listed below my video in the link. And that is for those of you that are following me and would like to support me on a monthly basis. It can be a few dollars, it can be $5 a month. But I decided to make a Patreon account, and then that way I can offer you something more personal on Patreon than I can on PayPal or somewhere else. On Patreon, I can do personal videos just for you, questions and answers. If you go up to the gold level, I can one-on-one Skype with you each month. So consider taking a look at my Patreon page. It's Sandra Lett, and there is a link below the video. Every once in a while I get some really hard wood and I can't get the push pin in as far as I'd like for it to go. And yes, I do have a hammer, but it's not close by. Just getting a few tools. I have a straw, a skewer, a comb thing. I am going to do a dirty pour. Now I'm hoping this light violet will straighten out because I wanted to really use it. Here's Master's Touch Purple. See, there's even some flugers on this one. That's my new word if I can remember it. A fluger instead of a booger. So let me switch over and mix this one up. So we're going to take that one out of the mix and we're going to say Master's Touch, which is from Michaels, purple. And that's a pale purple for a purple, but it's pale. But this is doing better. So I probably put a little less than an ounce of tube paint in each of the cups, and I probably put a little over an ounce of Floetrol, so a little more Floetrol than paint this time. I'm just trying something different just to see how it works out. I'll let that sit, and if it breaks down over time, I'll stir it up, and I'll just mix it into my bottle of light purple, and so then I'll have more paint. Never give up on it. Sometimes if you just let it sit, it might soften. So for my dirty pour, I'm going to start with a little white. Let's go for a bang here right off the get-go. And I push that down in there. So let's go back. I'm really trying to keep the contrast going here. I got more than plenty of paint, that's for sure. So just for the heck of it, I'm putting a little water on my canvas. So I'm wetting the surface of the canvas just for fun. Now I gotta decide how I want to do it. Do a little off center. Poke a hole, and that just releases the air in it. See how it comes out? I really wanted to do something without cells to begin with. And I've already got some cells even without. I got a paint tray here with some leftover paint in it, and I could peel it out. You know, you just start on it and it comes right out. But there's nothing in here I really want to save because it all turned kind of like what looks like straw. It just doesn't look very pretty. So this will be where I catch my paint, hopefully. These are the colors. I love anything purple. I was thinking about using red even. But I love any color that's similar, that's in the red, purple family. I'm just basically running my hand along the edge to help the paint along. And then I'll go over what I'm dabbing on it so that it won't have that effect. You want it to run over your edges completely. And it said to make something you love, and I already love. Already. No cells. So I have a little bottle and I've got a syringe and I've mixed up silicone and water. I'm just going to give it a try. Do a couple of drips, see what happens. Right here is where I dripped. I'm just going to see if anything happens with it. Did you see the heart right here in the middle? There's a little heart because it said make something you love, and I did. And that experiment didn't work at all. It wasn't anything special. I'm going to try right here, just a pure drop of silicone, and then drop some violet on it and see what happens. So you can kind of make your own cell action if you don't have cells, but you know what? I really love this just the way it is. I'm going to heat it. So that is kind of doing its own little thing from the water and the silicone that I dropped right there. This one is, you know, more kind of normal feeling. That's kind of interesting. Ooh, I didn't mean to drop that much in there. Put some white and pink. So I'm going to put a dribble of white on the table. I wanted a little white over here too. Okay, I'm going to call this one done. I do love it. It said make something you love, and I love it already. It's kind of simplistic. It's nothing fantabulous, but I do love it just the way it is. So that one I did without silicone, and I added a little drop or two of silicone just to see what would happen. So that was that one. I'm going to do another one. So I have no silicone in the colors, and we're going to switch it up this time. I'm going to save that cup because I may pour on a little piece of poster board and use that. So I'm still working on this purple. It's starting to get a little bit better. It's not as lumpy. So I'm going to keep working on it. So I'm going to do another dirty pour. This time I'm going to skip the treadmill lubricant. Skip my injection. I'm going to do a dirty pour. Start with white. I'm going to put in some fantabulous deep violet. Maybe a dash of black, and I'm going to put a drop of OGX, and then I'm going to add some more color. The Quinacridone Magenta, the light magenta, some white. Just do the light purple. Deep violet. Do one more pump. Not even a pump, it's just a drop. The light magenta and the Quinacridone magenta. I'll do a little circle of white. There's my kitty cat. A little bit of black. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. I'm going to put a little water on the canvas. I could even do, let's just scratch that. Let's put a little Floetrol on the canvas. We're just playing and having fun. You never know. Releasing that air. Sometimes you get a wobbly canvas. I'm going to let it sit for a minute. So basically I'm just putting a wet black surface down around the edges. And you give coconut milk just a few minutes to sit and it'll bring out these big cells anyway. And I don't have a ton of paint on here for the canvas, that's why I added the black. Got a half and half canvas, isn't that interesting? I love this. So I need a little interest here. So I'm just going to take a little black and add it right here. Take my store card. Wipe it off. We'll do just a little bit of this just to add in some interest. So this just gives a whole different little perspective to this side, so because there's this beautiful stuff going on here, because I love cells. I'm a cell lover. I'm going to move this paint. There's a separation where I kind of went over the canvas kind of hard down the center, but I love the little lines that have, the little cells that have come up. So I'm going to see if I can stretch this little band right here in the corner. But I don't want to get rid of it. So that gave that some lacing, which is pretty. So I'm going to continue these little lines right here where it kind of loses itself. And then maybe take this white and just do something with it to make it feel like it was supposed to be there and not just a blob. So I need to find some dark runoff. That's pretty right there. Take it over the edge and make it feel like it's part of this ribbon. I love this one as much, if not more, than the last one. So I've got two spots that I can see the canvas down in the center. I'm just going to drop a little paint in to create your own little cells. And just let them do their thing. It's an elephant trunk. I didn't want those to be so obvious. There's one other little spot. So I'm just going to leave that. The lumps are definitely the Floetrol. There's no doubt in my mind it's Floetrol. And I'm adding black on the areas that, because I had Floetrol underneath all this paint, it made it thin out a little bit. So I'm just making sure that everything is covered. So the great part about putting white or black on your edges of your canvas is that you can always go back and touch it up if it gets a little see-through on your canvas, if it's just solid black or white. So it's always a good thing to me to have a layer of white or black anyway. But you can start with the dry canvas. But I love this one just as much as I do the other one. To me it looks really interesting. I love large juicy cells. This is a 12-inch canvas, so that just gives you the idea of how big the cells are. And that was adding 2 drops of OGX in between layers, one kind of in the beginning part of the cup and one in the end part before the last few layers. So that's how that happened. And this one right here is not pretty. So there it is. Love, love, love. Maybe because it's just girly looking, and I love black with any color anyway. That's the thing about, if you're just starting to paint, you're always safe to go with white and black and 1 or 2 colors. Always. and it doesn't take much black at all to make it really stand out, but this is just gorgeous to me. So I got a couple of cards. I don't think I'll need both of them. So this had some OGX in it, and this one didn't have any. So you can just see how the cells pop up. So I'm just letting the paint just roll around on it. I'm gonna go back over that OGX and see what happens. So if you have lumpy paint, just let it sit for a while with the Floetrol, and you can add a little water and just keep stirring it, and it eventually will smooth out. So I'm wondering, I just want to do one more test. Maybe I'll dip this. Just to get some paint on here. So none of this has silicone in it. Let's take one more. So I just stuck some of the background color just like on here. So the paints didn't have any silicone in it, but the background that was from the pan did. So there's that. And I meant to put some black in it and I forgot, but maybe I'll leave one the way it is and go back and play with this one more time. Playing is where you learn. So if you have leftover paints and you just want to play, it's a good thing. So I'm going to put some white in here. And I'm going to put a drop of silicone. I'm going to stir, 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 stir. I'm going to do my straw. So that's really pretty right there. And even that's pretty, the stretched cells. So just playing is having fun. That's what it's all about. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And follow me on Instagram. I'm Sandra Lett on Instagram. And I have a PayPal link below, and I started a Patreon page so that if you want to support me a small amount every month, and we'll have some insider perks where maybe I do a question and answer video, or if you go up to the gold level, I will Skype with you personally. So check them out, and I'll have some other little perks that I add in that will be a surprise. I also have a Facebook group. If you click on the link below, it'll take you there. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, please do. That way you can post pictures and things that you're doing. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.